My lucky stars? Where did all this glitter come from? This is what I do when y'all aren't home, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Surprise! You're stuck with us for the next 2 days.
Well, I wouldn't be letting Bane break my back, I can tell you that much. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the DC Mcfarlane Bane Build-A-Figure. I'm going to be going over the articulation issues of it, my general thoughts about it, as well as different comparisons. So obviously this looks a lot different than the stock photos. Mine has been customized, total repainted body. So I'll get into that later on in the video, but for now we're just going to go over the basics of the character. If you haven't yet, please drop me a like and don't forget to subscribe. We're on our way to reaching 500 subscribers. Once we reach that milestone, I will definitely be doing a giveaway that's going to be probably a CGC book or an action figure, if not both. Why not do both? You have a character like Bane, who whenever he first came on the scene, hit the ground running. It created the Nightfall story arc, which Bane infamously broke Batman's back. It got recreated in The Dark Knight Rises, where Tom Hardy, his portrayal of Bane is amazing. I love Tom Hardy's Bane. He breaks Batman's back.
Oh, your buddy!
It creates a whole nother storyline with the introduction of a character named Azrael. He becomes a new Batman, but he gets a little bit too aggressive with everything, similar to Jason Todd's problems. And then he eventually, creates his own little suit to go fight Bane. He fights Bane. Bruce Wayne heals his back. He heals his back, and then comes back and confronts him. It's like, I'm Batman! So, there you go. Fast forward to what this figure is based off of. You have Batman Last Night on Earth. This book is a great read. It's only 3 issues. It has a standalone story. To sink into the meat and potatoes of the story, you don't have to go read anything else. You can just pick this up as is off Amazon. Link down below. It's a cheap book too. I think this is like $11, and you can just spend the morning drinking coffee and reading it. It's great. So the design on this McFarlane figure comes from the Bane of that story, and I don't know what they were thinking whenever they did this. If you look at the artwork of Bane from the story, that is not this figure that we have right here. It looks like it was also influenced from the Prime 1 Studios statue of Bane. I'll get into that with the review on what I did with the customizing parts. As you can see, Merciless is quite a bit taller than Bane, but Bane is much wider. For height-wise, Bane and the Hulk are actually about the same. It's a closer height comparison than I thought it was going to be, but Bane still has quite a lot of size on him. For Build-A-Figure, you can definitely pass on this. It's not worth the $100. It's right at $100 for this figure. You have to buy 4 individual figures. Omega is probably the best one to get. He has the best articulation as well as some really good sculpt. The Batman from the Asylum, he's a great number 2. That one looks good with all the other Batman figures that McFarlane has put out. The Wonder Woman figure, it's pretty good. It's not even pretty good. It's okay. That figure is even going to be re-released with the Dr. Fate helmet, so by all means, save your money and wait for that one. The Scarecrow figure, I don't like that figure at all. In fact, I'm selling it. It's super cheap. If you want it for $10, I'll mail it to you. With the articulation on this Bane figure, there is none. This is just a statue. So before you paint it, it comes black and gray, just like this. Look at the picture. Now, ideally, if you collect the Batman black and white statues, this would be great to put in your little display of that. Outside of being a collector of those statues, to me, there's no appeal of this figure. The articulation is god-awful. You have to heat this thing up to a ridiculous amount just to assemble. I had to use a heat gun on high for quite a while just to get the thighs together. But the redeeming factor on this figure is just the presence. It's a huge figure, but that's it. It's just big. There's butterfly joints there, but it's dismal. What I mean by that is this is the biggest range you get out of it. There's not hardly anything else outside of that. The only thing good about this figure is the sculpt. The sculpt work is insane. It's a great statue. But if you care more about posing and articulation, don't get this figure. Now that I've covered the basis of it, I'm gonna go ahead and break into what I did to change this from the standard stock version. So the first thing I did with this figure was I added sculpt going around the base of the head. What I wanted to do was try to create a more classic comic book style head sculpt for him. I wasn't a fan of how it originally came. So what I did was make this sculpt of this outline going around here. Then I also added little details of stitches going around it. As far as I know, there hasn't been a rendition of him with it. I just wanted to do it because I thought it looked cool. The painting aspect, what I did was use an airbrush. I used a form of zenithal priming. I just didn't use black because the base of this figure is already gray to begin with. So what I ended up doing was I took the whole upper body. I made cuts on the top of the wife beater, that way I could pull the straps down. And I painted the whole upper body where the skin would be gray. I then went back over and hit white, and then I made my flesh tones. So once I made my flesh tones, I was then able to get it ready and set it to the side, and then add my washes. Using the sideshow method, I used yellow, red, and blue washes for the skin, and you can see some of it, especially in the shoulder recesses where it has that, it maintained that red color to it. After that area, then I made a dark green wash, and then where all the veins have been sculpted in, I did a dark green wash up underneath it. I then used a toothpick with some white paint and went above all the raised veins and hit it with white, and then I went with a intermediate green and went on top of the white with all that. So I had layered it in that style to make it look a little bit more vibrant. With the gloves, these are originally kind of a navy blue color, and what I ended up doing to them was just painting them black. I painted these parts green the same way I did the veins to match. I hit a black wash on the middle part. I'm not sure where that metal part came from originally. I haven't seen that on any of the artwork, so I just hit it with a black wash so I could get all that sculpt detail part of it. This is probably my favorite part of the figure because I appreciate all the work that's been put in. So over here on the inside, I painted this part black. The strap that goes around the whole gauntlet, I hit with leather brown. Here where we have the buckle, I hit it with the chrome silver, continued with leather brown, added that olive green strap on top of it just to add a little bit more texture, and then painted the tubes black with chrome as well as the green for all the venom that's going throughout it. The belt, I hit it with some scarlet orange here at the top, then some more red down at the bottom, made a haze of both scarlet and my red, and then hit the belt buckle with it, and then went over that with a gloss later on. On the straps, I hit that with the leather brown that we used right here, as well as hitting chrome on all the silver. I painted the belt that goes all the way around them. It's kind of the weightlifter's belt, but that black part, we hit it with the black, and then I just went back with the toothpick and some white and try to hit all the little notches on the straps. For the pants, at one point I had airbrushed all of this navy blue. It had looked too much like the animated series Bane, which was neat. It looked different, but I wasn't happy with it. So then I went and dry brushed a bunch of black on top of the blue. So I ended up being cool with it. With these straps that are on the leg, I added the brown leather, black, olive green, red for the straps. With the color pattern that I used, it wasn't inspired necessarily by anything in particular. I was just trying to look for something a little bit different. Same thing here with that pouch. I hit it with the olive green, a black dry brush, and then black and chrome on top of the pouches. With the leather that's on inside of here, I hit it with a black wash later on. Moving on to the boots. The boots are pretty simple. I hit all of it with black. I glossed that part to create a leather effect. Hit chrome on the buckles on the back of these straps. Chrome these little notches. Chrome the spikes that are going throughout the front of the part of the boot. And then I also hit this part here with additional chrome and a little bit of white, as well as a gloss to try to make the metal pop. And there you have it, guys. That's my breakdown of what I did to this figure. I don't recommend this figure to anybody. Bane is one of my favorite characters of all time, and I don't like this. You know, even as a customizer, I still don't like it. There are things that I like about it that I did. I like how that turned out with the little canisters.
Yeah.
I like how the patches turned out, but... Alright guys, thank you for taking the time to check this out. I hope that this video was informative in some form or fashion to you. If you have any questions at all about the customizing process that I used on this figure, by all means, shoot me a message on Instagram and I can either walk you through it or I can at least answer some questions on what I did. Don't forget to drop me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't for more content like this. And be safe out there, guys, because the world's crazy right now.